you want to do a little introductions right now?
Sure, sounds good.
So if you're new, raise your hand. Let's start over here. Stand up and tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is F1rst. I'm a local photographer.
I'm Jacob Carson. I'm an artist.
Okay.
So,
My name is Janice.
Jens, and I'm Jacob.
Hi. Hi everyone, my name is Claudia and I am a plotter based out of Tulare. That's it.
You're old school? Me too. You're old school, you know.
Hi, my name is Sergio. I'm teaching. I know the importance of art, and I want to help here in the Valley. I've been traveling for a few years now, returning back, so that's it.
Hi, Carla Calhoun. I'm on Arts Visalia's board, and this is my first meeting with attended the Arts Consortium. Thank you for having me.
Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Falconico. I am an artist and the new executive director at Arts Visalia. This is my first meeting here, so good to see everyone.
Okay, welcome everyone. Does everybody know what the Arts Consortium does? Oh, you're gonna learn. So today we have Artist in School presentation. Kate, you want to fire away?
Sure.
Come on up.
All right. Thanks, MJ. All right. Get my tech here. Hi, everyone. I should stand on stage or the floor. I stand on the floor. It's not cool. So I'm Kate Stover, if you don't know me, and I have the great fortune and privilege of being the arts consultant at the Tulare County Office of Education. So my education friends in the room. And tonight, I am here to tell you all about our Artists in Schools program. So if you're new to the consortium, you came on a good night. If you're old to the consortium, it's good to see some old friends in the room. So what is the Artists in Schools program? Okay. So the Artists in Schools program is something that we used to have in the county office years and years ago, and it went away, and we really wanted to bring it back. And so through some funding sources and some good luck and a lot of things had to happen, we are rejuvenating that Artists in Schools program. And so basically, the idea behind it is that we will have artists, working artists, professionals, going into our schools in Tulare County and working with our students from as little as kindergarten, preschool, on up to high school, potentially even college someday, depending on how that goes. So that is, in a nutshell, what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, kind of what the structure of that program is. And I actually have some friends in the room that are doing this work that I might tap to tell us a little bit about it. But this program is a partnership between TCOE and Arts Consortium, so that's kind of important to know that it's a partnership between our two organizations, long-standing friends that we are. So, before we even get into the nitty-gritty, the qualifications to be an artist in the schools are probably what you're asking yourself the most right now. So, if you're interested even a little bit, how do you get in, what are the qualifications? So, you have to be interested in kids. You have to like working with kids. If you don't like working with kids, then keep doing your thing, but maybe this isn't where you want to be. But if you like kids, stick around. You have to have knowledge and skills in an art form, obviously, because it's an Arts in Schools program. We want you to have those skills available. Some teaching experience is preferred, but it's not required. So if you've never taught before, if you don't have a teaching credential, no big deal. If you've taught, if you've done classes with kids, whether in the community, in a church program, in some kind of after-school setting, that's great, even better. Willingness to work and travel as contracted. So we have a big county, we have lots of schools that are interested in this. So, the willingness to go wherever you might be needed would be part of one of the things we would ask of you, but it's not necessarily required. If you have restrictions on your travel, we can work with that. Be over the age of 18, obviously that's kind of an important thing. And then the last piece is probably the most important, the ability to pass a background check. So just fingerprints, those kinds of things are required because you would be working with students. So how does the program work? I'm gonna run through all this, and if you have questions, just hold them, and I'll take all your questions. Because hopefully we might answer them. So the artists, you'll work directly with our Tulare County schools. The way it works is we do all the training and support between TCOE and the Arts Consortium, but in the end, the district will contract directly with you. The district will pay you as the artist director. It's not TCOE paying you, that kind of thing. You set your own rates, you set your own policies, you set your own programs. That's kind of how that goes. So when we talk about the arts, when we talk about artists in schools, what kinds of things are we looking for? Well, arts, obviously, is a really, really broad category that means a lot of different things. But these 6 places are kind of what we're really looking for. So if you're in dance, if you're doing film, video, media arts, music especially, I have a lot of schools that are interested in that. Theater, visual arts, of course, and then literary arts. So poetry, creative writing, those are also areas that we're interested in. And potentially things that aren't up here, if you do, I don't know, welding, cooking, maybe could be an art form, I don't know, we'll talk. But these are kind of the big ones that we're interested in. So, Tulare County, what is Tulare County? A lot of people, have you ever seen this map? Raise your hand if you've never seen this map before. If you want to know that. It's cool if you haven't. A lot of people have never seen this. So, Tulare County Office of Education, here in our county, we have, most people don't know, 43 school districts. We serve over 102,000 students, roughly, K-12 in Tulare County, fun fact. So these are the 43 school districts in our county. So you might know where you went to school or your loved ones go to school, or schools that you might be interested in. And we'll share this slide deck with you too. So when you're looking at this going, that's really, really small, right, Kate? I can't read that. Don't worry. But I share this with you for a couple of reasons. One, so you can see how big our county is and all of the opportunities. But 2, so you can consider, as you think about this, where you might be interested in working. So just to kind of give you some perspective, I can't reach it, but if you can find Visalia Unified, the little jaggedy piece and the kind of wedge in the center there, that's VUSD. And that whole area to the east and to the south is all of the rest of our county that's not here in Visalia. So all of those places, we have 28 small and single school districts, the most small and single school districts of any county and state. So, okay, so those are all the places potentially you could be working. You get to tell me where you're interested in working. What grade levels are you interested in working with? So again, we run the gamut. So it could be early childhood, preschool age, could be elementary school age, so K-5. Could be middle school, love those middle schoolers, I'm a former middle school teacher myself. So 6th through 8th grade, high school, college, adults, that's it. So if you have a specific grade level you want to work with, that's a question we'll ask on the application. If you're open to any grade level, that's cool too. Some people really, really love one grade level. So that's something we'll want to know. And then what settings are you potentially interested in working in? So a traditional classroom, that would be obviously a traditional classroom. But that's not the only option. Early childhood preschool, if you spend any time in preschool, you know they're different. They look a lot different, they feel a lot different. After school and expanded learning, I will say there is a lot of funding in after school spaces right now and a lot of interest. So if you're really, really interested in working in after school or intersession, which would be like during spring break, winter break, holiday times, when kids aren't necessarily in school, summer, let me know because people really want some help. Court community and alt ed, our county office runs those programs. So again, those students need art just as much as anyone else. So if that's of interest to you, let me know. Special education, again, those students most in need sometimes of art, and it's a great place to be. Outdoor nature, y'all know Saigon, our outdoor camp, if you're interested in working at a place like that. And then lastly, community spaces, so places like this, libraries, rec centers, other places in the community. So those are possible settings. And then what does it look like? So how long? I'm just kind of walking you through things to think about. So you could have a residency, meaning you're on campus for an extended amount of time. So it could be a semester, it could be, a quarter, depending on what the school is interested in and what you're interested in. Could be 2 or 3 weeks, maybe it's a shorter window of time. Could be a short opportunity, so maybe it's a week or less. Or maybe it's a one-day experience, or you come in and do a guest lecture, you do a guest presentation, something like that. And then the size of your class can depend. So it might be, you might say, I only want one classroom full of students, or you might say, I can handle a cafeteria full of kids. So you kind of get to set those parameters. Again, it might depend on what you're doing. If you're doing something with boards, like my friend Tony would be doing, that's probably a smaller group than if we're doing a dance number. Okay? All right, almost done with this piece. So times and schedules, again, during the day, after school, in the evenings, on the weekends, or summer, winter, and spring break. All of those are possibilities. On the application, again, you kind of get to tell me this is what I'm interested in. I can do these, I can't do these. That's cool, we'll work around your schedule. We're just excited that you might be interested in joining us. And the question I know you're wondering, cool, Kate, how much am I going to get paid? Well, that's up to you. You get to set your rate. Okay, we're not going to set that rate for you. You know your value, you know your worth. But we are also coaching our districts and our schools to honor your value and your worth. Okay, so that's a conversation we're having. Obviously, we want arts to matter. We want districts to recognize the value of the arts. So we can help you through that, and we can help the districts do that. But it's not a thing where it's like everybody gets a flat rate of this amount. Okay, because again, it might be different. You might be bringing some of your materials and some of your supplies, and we'll give you some support on that. Last couple things to think about your transportation. So if you are going to do this program, build your cost to travel into your rates. And then the materials and supplies piece, if it's basic materials and supplies like colored pencils, paper, those kinds of things that a district should have, that can be something you have the district provide. But again, I'll have my friend Tony, if you're doing boards, if you're doing weaving, if you're doing something very, very specific, you might want to bring those materials and supplies and just figure that cost into your contract. So, all right, the last little piece, I'll give you the timeline, and then I'll take any questions that you have. So the application is open today, and there's a flyer if you didn't get it on the table that has a QR code, and it has a link to the application. You can hit that application anytime. It'll be up until November 1st. So feel free to fill that out if you have questions. My contact info is on that sheet. You can reach out to me. Once all those applications are in, we will review them and let anyone know kind of your status. Your acceptance into the program. We'll let you know by November 15th. And again, all of this is contingent on passing fingerprint clearance, so that would be something to think about. And then we'll do a paid training, $400 off the top. Hey, not bad. We'll give you a stipend for coming to our training, and that training is going to be Monday, December 4th in the evening. So that training date is set for any artists who are selected for the program. Oh, and it'll be at our office in North Visalia. And then that's the link, which is on the flyer. Okay, before I take questions, I have Robert is here. He's one of our artists who had experience. My friend Tony is one of our artists, because this is the second round we've done. And my friend Mary Wave, is one of our artists. So I'm interested if any of the three of you have anything you want to share with the group about this experience. No pressure. Sure. Come on. Give me a hand.
Woohoo!
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Hillergass, and I am a professionally published illustrator. I also teach art to kids and adults throughout Visalia with the Arts Consortium's My Voice Media Center, also with the CA Visalia rec program. I was one of the pilot artists joining the Arts in Schools program. It's been a lot of fun so far. I have met with schools and libraries and been able to network with kids who are going to also be my potential audience for my books. So my biggest advice, I guess, is to find what your niche is and what it is that you're going to want to bring to the schools and create like a little sample program of some classes that you might be able to offer, give them some sort of concrete ideas of what you're going to bring, and don't undervalue yourself. Keep in mind there is prep work, there is material costs that you're probably going to be putting together before you go to the schools, the travel time, of course, and then your experience and skill that you've developed over the years to make sure that you're accounting for all of those things when you're negotiating the price. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I am so grateful to be part of this program, and I love this opportunity, so thank you, Kate.
How many schools?
I've done 3 schools so far and 1 library since joining the program. I'm not sure that all of them were through the Artists in Schools program or through other contacts that I made with the library. But it's been only a few months, right? So we're still kind of getting the word out, and I'm wanting to work on making like some marketing brochures that I'd love to share with the other artists as well.
Yeah, we did a demo at one site, several of our artists, and they actually reached back out and did a Saturday a couple weeks ago and brought several of you back out to do another day.
Yeah.
So it's sort of ongoing work that's happening. So, Tony, Robert, anything you guys want to add to that? Okay. All right. Questions? I know I've taken way more than my time, but Harlan.
Teachers who are focusing on creative writing side of things, and so what age groups.
So the question was, do we have teachers focusing on creative writing? And the answer is we don't. Well, Mary is doing some writing, I think, in terms of the Artists in Schools piece. But in terms of interest from our districts who are looking for artists, yeah, they're absolutely looking for creative writing, for poetry. So that's the thing, is we're trying to make that matchmaking where districts, and the one thing right now, because everyone that's in our pool of current artists is from the first round are all visual artists, which is great, but we're really also looking to expand into the other disciplines. So do we have musicians, do we have theater artists, do we have filmmakers, and more writers, because the districts are looking for that support. So, yeah, other questions?
So I'm a photographer, so my supplies might be kind of expensive for the students. What would that just be written into like the description of the course?
Yeah, so the
What
question,
I would need for that?
so the question was, photographer supplies might be expensive, is that written in?
Right.
I think it depends on what the supplies are. If they're consumable, so if you're doing something where you're doing printing, for example,
Right.
then write that in. If you want cameras, or if you want something like that, then let's talk, because that might be something that we can either get for you,
Or have
like,
it permanent in that
have
classroom.
it in the classroom might have, or it might be something that we decide to just purchase for the program, because we have some funding that just rotates, so don't let that be a limiting factor. Yeah, we'll talk. Great question. Any other questions? These are rock stars. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, well, if you think of other questions, or if you're interested, again, this is the flyer. It looks like this, QR code. That's my contact information, so pick one up. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me, or to Amelia if you have other questions. So, all right. Thanks. Oh, he's pointing.
Can I get you to change hats and
Yeah.
talk a little bit about Poetry Out Loud?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna change hats. So the other thing, so the other hat I wear at the county is one of our student events that we have is Poetry Out Loud. And we've done that, this would be I think the 6th or 7th year that we've done Poetry Out Loud in the county. Again, as a partnership with the Arts Consortium. And last year we added a new component and added a whole nother, well 3 actually, student events and retitled the whole thing Poetry Live. So the short version of the story is Poetry Out Loud is a national competition that functions much like a spelling bee. So we have students who memorize poems, masterwork poems, high school. They come compete here, and it says to be determined, but it's going to be at 210 this year again, in our county competition. And the winner of the Tulare County competition goes on, I'm talking really fast. Stop it. I'm not doing this very well. The winner is going to go on and represent Tulare County at the state competition in Sacramento. So that's high school poetry out loud. Well, we used to, in the 5 previous years, get a lot of questions from people, and they said, that's cool for the high school kids, but what about the middle schoolers? What about the younger students? So last year, we added Poetry Out Loud Junior, POL Junior, and that's open to 5th through 8th graders. And same thing, we give them an anthology. They choose some poems, they memorize the poems, they come recite, it's fun. Well, that wasn't enough. We added 2 more events last year. So we decided to add the Tulare County Youth Poet Laureate. What competition? Did you know we have a Youth Poet Laureate? We crowned our first champion last year. She's from Tulare, actually. So the way that works is the student, and that's open to middle and high school students. It's one competition. And those students, it's an original poem. So they write an original piece. and they compete. They compete in that competition, and there's kind of 3 layers in that competition. So one is the written piece, so they can be judged for that. And if they decide that they don't want to recite and they want to have a guest reciter or a famous, celebrity in the community, I don't know who that's going to be, one of you maybe, recite on their behalf, then they can select that box. If they want to be in the full competition and actually be in the running for Tulare County Youth Poet Laureate, then they recite on stage at 2:10. And so it's kind of a side-by-side competition, if you will. So we crown, again, Youth Poet Laureate from 5th through 12th grade, or 6th through 12th grade for that one. And then we crown the Junior Poet Laureate, who they don't advance anywhere. And then the high school Poetry Out Loud champion goes on to the high school competition. The Youth Poet Laureate, though, is really cool because they actually will go on to a regional competition and then potentially to a national competition. And y'all know Amanda Gorman, you know that name, you know that face. She was the state or the national Youth Poet Laureate. So she actually came out of that competition. So potentially, our Tulare County champion could go on to do something like that. So how fun is that? So if you're interested, or you know anyone that's interested, from a coaching standpoint, we're always looking for coaches in our districts to help us out with this. So talk to me, shoot me an email, let us know if you want to be a coach. We would love to have more interest in this program because it's kind of one of those things you sort of have to see to know what it is. And then if you're around on February 2nd, which is First Friday in February, we actually will have our county competition. So come join us, have cookies and punch at 2:10, it'll be great, and cheer these amazing kids on because they are amazing. So, did I answer all the questions on that? Was that a good commercial? All right, I'm going to hand off the mic because I feel like it's all the time. You guys are amazing. Thank you. You're great, guys.
Thank you, Kate. And if you didn't know, Kate, what is your official title? I always butcher it.
My official title is Staff Development and Curriculum Specialist for the Visual Performing and Media Arts for the Tulare County Office of Education.
That's why I butchered it. So Kate is formerly a board member of the Arts Consortium, and she helped us in the early years, and she now not only works with Tulare County, but she's got 4 other counties that she works with. So her plate is very full, and those are all, she only spoke about 2 hats that she wears. I don't know how many other hats she wears, but we're very, very thankful that you can come. Kate, please give her another hand. So, thank you all very much for coming here. I'm going to take it back to the beginning of the meeting and invite every single one of you, if you're not already a member of the Arts Consortium, please consider becoming a member. If you are a visual artist or a performing artist, we try to make sure that the memberships pay for themselves within the year. Individual memberships start at $15 for the year for students and go up to $100 for for-profit businesses for the year. And again, we do our best to make sure that that membership pays for itself throughout the course of the year. We also want to thank Mary Jo Estes, our interim president, for being here with us and starting off this meeting. We are ready to go. If I look tired, it's because I am. Sandra and myself and Hope and all of us have just been working nonstop to make sure that all these programs are as exciting and as accessible as possible, and that we get the word out as much as we can. We are a staff of 5 people, so we have a lot of work to do, and so we also appreciate a lot of input from the community because there's a lot of times where things fall through the cracks, and we need your voice to help us remember that we have to keep on things. So thanks again for being here. If you look at your agendas, if you all have agendas, we're looking at SB 326, which is a weird number, right? It's just Senate Bill 326, which actually has already passed. What that is they call it in quotes, the modernization of the Mental Health Services Act, which is sort of a little bit of a misleading thing because it seems to me that it's more of giving a good look to the idea of the homeless problem that we all see, without really addressing a lot of the other issues that come along with homelessness. So this bill itself looks to take away more than 50% of the funding that comes to programs like the My Voice Media Center. If you know anything about us, you know that the My Voice Media Center is really near and dear to our hearts, and it is how we've actually been able to reach deeper into the county than ever before. And so I would like to invite you to stand with us and voice our discontent to our leadership in the state about SB 326. And if you're interested, I can email you a link for a webinar so that you can join us and learn a little bit more about it. It's thousands of pages, and it gets condensed into little sound bites. So if you want to learn more about it, please join us. But yeah, keep that in mind. SB 326, it's already changing, it's already morphing, but from what we hear, it's really not getting any better. So we need your help. Taste the Arts. We are going full steam ahead for Taste the Arts. This is the highest level of registrations for artist booths that we've ever had at this point in the season. Usually we always have a rush at the end of the season, but right now we're at about 50 booths sold. Usually at this point we have about 20-25 booths sold. So we're looking really good. If you haven't gotten yours yet and you want one, please let us know. We'll tell you all about it. And if you're totally brand new to the organization, we do charge a registration fee, $50 for members, $75 for non-members, but again, we try to make it worthwhile. So we actually install and tear down your booth for the event. We have volunteers that come around and give you a break if you don't have a partner or a friend there with you throughout the day to go to the restroom. We provide waters, and although we've already missed the deadline, maybe for next year, if you register on time and you provide us with your sample images, we throw in a little bonus on the event day. Taste the Arts is looking really great right now. Today we just booked our 8th food truck, so we're looking pretty good there. We're going to have an interactive mural, we're going to have interactive ceramics, we're going to have a tea ceremony, we're going to have interactive weaving, we're going to have interactive painting lessons, we're going to have all kinds of we're going to have huge steamroller prints again. All that exciting stuff is coming back. We're really excited. The main stage is going to have all of our youth performers like usual. And then after 5 p.m., once the street fair closes, we're going to continue the night into 10 p.m. with the Sound and Vision's main stage and a little bit of a block party. We're going to bust a couple kegs out, have a couple drinks, have a good time. You'll see Sandra and myself out there pouring those beverages, having a really good time. So, Taste the Arts, October 14th, this year, Saturday, October 14th. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. Are there any questions about Taste the Arts at all? All right. Poetry Out Loud, Kate already touched on it. Thank you so much, Kate. Poetry Out Loud is really, really cool. One thing that we need to keep emphasizing is that we used to have about 1,000 students participate in this contest. Ever since things shut down and reopened again, we're having a hard time getting that participation level again. But our prizes are getting better. So students who win our county competition get $1,000. $1,000 for reciting a poem that is not their own. They just have to memorize it. And then the folks who write their own poem get another $1,000. And the second and third place winners usually get a prize as well. So really, it's an amazing thing. It gives you a lot of confidence. If you've ever tried public speaking, you know how terrifying it is. I'm terrified right now, but you kind of work through it. Practice, and you get better at it. So, Poetry Out Loud, please keep that in mind. First Friday at Garden Street. If you didn't know, we tried our very first partnership with Tacos and Tributes and the City of Visalia's Parks and Rec Department out there on the corner of Garden Street where it meets Main, and we had an amazing time. Well, Sandra had an amazing time. I unfortunately had a commitment that I made way at the beginning of the year, so I couldn't really change that. But Sandra, do you want to talk about it? Sure. Sandra is our administrative assistant. Please give her a hand.
Thank you, everyone. It was a great event. It's one of our first that we ever did like this. It was actually the City of Visalia, so thank you for that, to the Parks and Rec Department, who reached out to us and talked to tributes. They wanted to be involved. They actually moved their date so they can coincide with.
Camera ended, cut.
This morning that those big ones are meant for video
Wow.
camera. So if it's more of a video camera than a camera, then they should work okay.
So a huge memory card is not always the answer, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so big thanks to the City of Visalia Parks and Rec Department and Topics and Tribute for making it happen. We had a meeting earlier today, and on their end it also went well. I was there all night, and there was a huge crowd. And I talked to the artists who were involved, and they really liked it. And they were really thankful for the event, so that made me happy knowing that, and hopefully we can do more events like this. So I know we closed the registration fast. I don't know if, how many artists tried to register maybe weeks after I posted the registration form, but we had to close it fast because we had a lot of interest since this first Friday for artists was free for them to vendor at these events. So that was a big plus for them. But hopefully, after this first Friday that happened, we noticed that we might be able to get more artists, besides the 10 that we had that night. So artists, keep a lookout for that, because I might open it and have some people on wait list right now. So I'm going to reach out to them first, but just keep a lookout for that. Other than that, a great event. Hopefully we get more like these years to come. Did I miss anything?
Thank you, Sandra. It was Sandra's first Friday that she ran on her own, and she was the most difficult one. So thanks again, Sandra. We, as she mentioned, we did have a meeting with the City of Visalia, and we were out there. We printed the biggest graphics we've ever printed for First Friday. They were 24 by 36, 2 foot by 3 foot. We had them on easels. Thank you, Arts Visalia, for loaning us those. And there was just so much activity. They were hard to see. So we're going to keep working with. They were in the back. They were behind the stage.
They were towards the entrance of where the artists were.
Oh, yeah. So the whole setup is getting reworked. The whole setup is getting reworked because we also, from what I understand, we had a booth that looked like it was either supposed to be a walkway into the art area, but it ended up blocking people from going back there. So again, it's our first event. We're working with them. The Tacos and Tributes folks are really very easy to work with, and we're going to make sure we have announcements so that people know that we have their venues and all kinds of good stuff. So I think it's the beginning of a really good thing. So
And it's free.
And it's free. It's totally free to get in there. The beer's not free though. Totally free to get there. Artist opportunities. So the artist opportunities that we have had lately have changed quite a bit. The county has gone through an art approval process, and it's kind of slowed things down a whole lot. If you've ever applied to our county projects before, they used to be pretty quick. We used to get a turnaround probably within a couple of weeks. We used to be able to announce the artists and get things through. But because it has changed so much, things are getting really slow. So I want you to understand that if you haven't heard from us, it's not because you were denied, it's just because this whole process has gotten very complicated. So it's gotten so complicated that now we even we're asking the board of supervisors, hey, how about if we can't meet, how about you do this through email? So we're trying to make the best out of this situation. But again, we just wanted to let you know that if you haven't heard from us, not because you've been denied, it's just because we haven't been able to meet with the board. So there's that. Other opportunities, I don't think we have very many right now. We have the farmers market, which, if you didn't know, moved to the north end of Mooney by the courthouse. A little bit more visible. As far as I understand, it still has the same crowd, so it's still a great opportunity. And as the presenting artist for the Arts Consortium, we will be one of the only, if not the only, artist out there. So it'll be something different to look at. And most of the time, people out there have cash in their pockets and they're already ready to spend it. So why not buy a piece of art? It's usually a really good turnout and a good result for our artists. We also have First Fridays, like Sandra mentioned. We've got Taste the Arts coming up. And at Taste the Arts, we will have open registration for the South Valley Art Tour. If you haven't heard about the South Valley Art Tour, it is our county, well, semi-county-wide a tour of art. It used to be county-wide, but we realized it's so hard to travel the entirety of Tulare County in one weekend. So we cut it in half at Highway 198, and this year, or in 2024, we'll be featuring the studios north of Highway 198. So if you have a studio on the north end of Highway 198, we will be featuring those locations. And even if you have a studio or a workspace on the south end of 198, you can partner with somebody on the north end and still show your work. You can show your work every year if you want. And because the Arts Consortium will have a venue this year, instead of the Oval Gallery, which was it's a little reduced in space, we will actually be able to host artists at the Arts Consortium. We used to be able to do that when we had the lumberyard. We had a ton of artists there, and it was wonderful. It was amazing. We had a whole week of setup, so things got pretty elaborate. And so we'll be able to do that again in 2024. So we're very excited about that. Keep an eye out for the South Valley Art Tour registrations. I think, unless there are any questions, I think we're ready to open up for announcements. Any questions? No? All right, announcements. Who's up? Please say your name, who you're representing, and then your announcement.
My name is Tracy, once again, Executive Director at Arts Visalia. I just wanted to announce that we are currently hiring for an Assistant Director position. So this is someone who will be in charge of our educational programming, as well as day-to-day gallery upkeep and working directly with me to keep things up and running at Arts Visalia. So applications can come on our website, artsvisalia.org. The front page is a big red stripe, you just click it and all the information is right there. Until the 20th.
Announcements, anyone else? Okay. We've got Hope. Would you like to make an announcement? Ms. Kathy? Okay.
Hi, my name is Hope, or Hello McKay. I'm the My Voice Media Center project coordinator with Arts Consortium. I'm just going to do a quick MVMC update. As of now, we have 3 total youth sessions. COSAD, which is the court-appointed special advocates. Yeah, I have that right. The HEAL Project with California Health Collaborative with Mary, and Mary is also doing COSAD now. And we also have one starting in Allensworth. It's a small community project, but really great for the children. And my last thing was
Anthony Center.
Oh, and the Anthony Center, thank you very much. We're going to have, it's like a yoga session. We call it Art of Movement, which is a great way to relax and breathe and try different poses as an art form. And the last thing was the MVMC facilitator meeting, which we are going to introduce a long-awaited project, the Facilitator Handbook. And it's a collaboration of lots of small handbooks that were made throughout the years. And Health and Human Services Agency supporting information and years of experience at MVMC, all put into one handbook to where the facilitators and the staff can all refer to it and learn about My Voice and have their questions answered. So that's all for My Voice Media Center. Who's next?
Your artwork. Yes.
Oh, my artwork? I kind of announced that last time, you guys, but that's okay. Feel free to go see my show. My personal artwork is up at Arts Visalia for the month of September. So go and see it Wednesday through Friday, 12 to 5.
Saturday.
Thank you.
Saturday.
What did I say? Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 5. Yeah.
Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 5:30. Thank you.
Oh, okay, 5:30.
Thank you very much. All right, so now, without further ado, there's some waters, there's some snacks. Please stick around, mingle, talk to each other. Talk to Kate. She has a lot of knowledge. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you. If you have any questions, we'll be here.